KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Today in Chicago's USA Today, I have published an editorial that I think should serve as a guide to all of us during this Thanksgiving season. I call it Caregiving for My Father. Reverend Jesse Jackson showed me the real cost of care. Over the past 5 years, along with every one of my siblings, I took on a new and difficult role, serving as a caregiver for my father, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. My caregiving experience has been brutal, formative, and eye-opening. It's an honor and a blessing to help care for my father as he valiantly manages progressive supranuclear palsy. It's also incredibly taxing mentally, emotionally, and financially for our family. My little sister, Jackie Jr., has put her teaching career on hold to take on a full-time care for our father. Like the Jacksons, there are siblings across America who are splitting nights and weekends. There are spouses, sons and daughters like my mother, brother, and Yusef, and sisters and Jackie and Santita, who become full-time nurses. There are nieces, nephews, and neighbors driving loved ones to dialysis and learning how to manage meds and feeding tubes. As we celebrate Thanksgiving, let us pray for the unpaid caregivers across the country. The best way to give them thanks is to recognize the scale of what they do, the cost that they bear, and the policy fixes that could support them. November is National Family Caregivers Month. An AARP, National Alliance for Caregiving report found that about 63 million Americans, nearly 1 in 4 U.S. adults, provide ongoing care to an adult or child with a significant health or functional need in the past year. For most, this is not a weekend favor. Family caregivers spend an average of 27 hours a week providing care, and nearly a quarter provide 40 or more hours. It's a full-time job. Estimates vary, yet the unpaid care provided by family members can be measured in the hundreds of billions of dollars each year, saved in healthcare costs and vast sums that would otherwise be spent on institutional care. As overinflated and expensive as healthcare is in the United States, it could be much worse if not for the unpaid caregivers. Some are trading income careers to care for their loved ones. A widely cited AARP estimates that economic value of unpaid family caregiving is roughly $600 billion a year. Even conservative estimates place the cost to caregiving in lost wages and benefits at $522 billion annually. When families provide care, the country gets a service worth more than many industries, while caregiving themselves get stress and exhaustion. The financial hit is only the part of the hardship. Caregiving often drives families into debt, forces reduced unemployment hours, factors into job exits, and erodes retirement savings. Many caregivers spend a sizable share of their own income on household and medical costs for the person they love. Many trade career advancement, Social Security accrual, and employer retirement benefits for the unpaid, indispensable work of keeping and caring for a loved one at home. These burdens fall heavily on women, who make up a majority of the caregivers, and people of color and those of lower income whose caregivers more often experience the negative financial impacts. The mental and physical health consequences are also painful. Caregivers report elevated levels of emotional stress, depression, and anxiety. A recent synthesis of studies shows higher rates of depression and emotional stress levels among caregivers. Many neglect their own health. Burnout and isolation are common. The emotional weight of watching a loved one decline and managing complex medical needs takes a distinctive toll. With an aging population, by 2030, projections suggest that more than 1 in 5 Americans will be over age 65. Advancing solutions to allow people to get to age at home is critical to America's economic stability. Paid family and medical leave would help people connected to employers and income during these intense caregiving episodes and reduce forced job exits. Employers can help with flexible scheduling, caregiver-friendly benefits, and manager training so workers can ask for help without being penalized. We owe dignity to caregivers. Caregiver tax credits and cash stipends for low and middle income families would blunt out-of-pocket cost and debt. Expanding Medicaid and Department of Veterans Affairs funded programs that pay family caregivers a modest wage, now available in some states, recognizes caregiving as work and targets help where it is needed most. Congress should bring that policy to the federal level. It's time to build a more robust community support infrastructure. We must increase funding for home and community-based services, expand respite care so family members can get some sleep and tend to their own health, and broaden caregiver training programs so family members aren't expected to perform medical tasks without proper guidance. We should also invest in caregiver mental health services and peer support networks. Treating caregiver stress is preventive care for families and for our nation's health system. Morally, we owe it. We owe dignity those who keep loved ones safe at home. Pragmatically, supporting caregivers prevents hospital readmissions, delays costly institutionalization, and keeps experienced workers attached to the labor market. Supporting family caregivers is an investment that pays America back in health, social stability, and economic sense. To every family caregiver reading this and listening to this, thank you and God bless you. You are not failing if you struggle. You are not selfish if you need a break. There are communities, services, public officials who want to help. This immensely difficult work can and should be a bit easier. Caregiving is woven into American life. It is how we honor our elders, how we keep people with disabilities living in community, and how we hold families together when health falters. Let our gratitude be more than words. Let it be policy that shows the breadth of our thanks. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. This is the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More on the caregiving economy when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We want to speak directly to our listeners in Altadena and all across Southern California. Recently, we invited Southern California Edison to join a town hall so fire survivors could ask questions and get clear information about the Altadena Eaton fire and this so-called settlement fund. Weeks before the event, the law firm originally connected to the program withdrew, and we provided SCE updated materials confirming those changes. But despite that, SCE later stated publicly and privately that they were pulling out of the town hall because plaintiffs' attorneys were participating. That was not accurate, and SCE knew that it was not accurate. But when shown documentation that disproved their claim, SCE ignored it and declined to correct the record. At KBLA Talk 1580, trust is not an option. It is the foundation of our work and witness. It is the promise that we make to you. And so we will not move forward with any partnership that misrepresents the facts or undermines the credibility that we have built in love and service to this beloved community. Our commitment remains with the good people of Altadena. We will continue providing independent, verified information to support your recovery without interference from any outside entity, including Southern California Edison, so you don't get burned twice. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Today, we are talking during Thanksgiving about the caregiving economy, the economy of caregivers. Nearly $500 billion a year, and that's the conservative number. The more liberal number is $600 billion a year for family members who love a loved one or neighbors who love a loved one, who provide them with care, and they never make it to an emergency room, and they are not a government statistic. We've got to do something about the caregiving economy in the United States by bringing this to the attention of the American people. Today, our contributor, John Lesiotis, a regular contributor on our show, our Let's Talk About It series, joins us. He's a political analyst, activist, and at every second Tuesday of the month on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, our series, Let's Talk About It, John Lesiotis puts real talk in the middle of the floor about the ways Republicans may view Democrats and vice versa in a dialogue filled with messaging and messenger truths. John, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Jesse. It's great to be with you again, and great to talk to you today.
John, I'm honored that you're here. John, I trust that you've had the opportunity to read USA Today this morning.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. And great article. I think it hits at a lot of faults with our healthcare system. But you illuminate so many of them so well. So that was a great article.
John, I'm concerned for those who think this conversation is about the Affordable Care Act. There are those who might think this conversation is about the government shutdown. They may think that it's about what Democrats and Republicans are squabbling over in the Congress of the United States. My experience is that there is an economy that is not even contemplated by Congress, by the House, the Senate, or the President of the United States, whether they are Democrat or Republican, of caregivers. When your wife gets sick and even chronically ill, the time that you take off to provide care, to provide basic hygienic care, to make sure that the medicine is being distributed on time, the time you take off from work, the time you take off from vacations, when you get sick and your loved one has to provide for you or look in on you and take days off from work. And these examples are too many to completely analyze in the limited program that we have today, but the numbers are astounding. Somewhere between $500 billion and $600 billion a year.
Yeah.
The government of, for, and by the people is not addressing. John, your thoughts?
But I think the big picture here, Jesse, is it illuminates how broken our healthcare system is in this country. I mean, people have talked about it forever, and you can see how hard politicians had to fight just to give us basic Obamacare. how that was a political football for so many years. Was it Hillary tried to move healthcare forward with Bill when he was the president? And I know that you worked in Congress on healthcare with Obama at times and other people. And it's still a political football. Ever since Obamacare got passed, they've tried to eliminate it because they've got a better plan. And yet, I think Trump was even supposed to unveil a Republican alternative yesterday. And they had the press conference, but delayed announcing anything on it. So it really, I think the large picture, Jesse, it just points at how broken our healthcare system is on a macro basis, and on a smaller level, how much we undervalue minorities' work. And that's women and people of color, especially, because those are people that I think probably do 75 to 80% of the caregiving like that. So I just think those two things alone make it really something that needs to be addressed by Congress on a national basis, like you said.
When I go to church on Sunday mornings, at the beginning of the program, there's always a nurse, if you will, or a deaconess, or someone who's over what they call the sick and shut in ministry,
right,
who comes to the microphone, not quite the pulpit, but off to the side with a hat on, and she begins to read the list of the sick and shut in and pray for Sister Mary and pray for Brother William, and pray for this person and pray for that person, the sick and shut in, the sick and shut in. The sick and shut in budget, ladies and gentlemen, is somewhere between $500 and $600 billion a year. And the sick and shut in never see an emergency room. They never see a primary care physician. These are the people we take care of that have nothing to do with the political debate that's taking place in Washington, whether Trump introduces Trump Care and Obama introduces Obamacare, which is the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act presupposes that you have a job, that you're working one job, two jobs, or three jobs. And at the end of working three jobs, you still can't afford health care. Affordable care is for you because during open season, you get to move between various healthcare plans. I'm talking about the love economy, the care economy where, okay, I don't have Obamacare, I don't have Trump care, but my mother is sitting over here and she is sick. She lives in Kansas City. I live and work in Houston. I've got to leave my job in Houston because there is no way I'm going to let my mother sit around the house, not be able to make it to a restroom, not have basic care. I'm going to bathe my mother herself. I'm going to take care of my father myself. And they are human beings, so they have regular hygienic and bodily functions. I'm not turning that over to anybody.
No.
My sister was a teacher in Japan. She has a PhD. She teaches in Japan. Little Jackie, believe it or not, teaches in Japan. And she's given up her job in Japan to be a full-time caregiver, uncompensated for my father, because my brothers and sisters who do have jobs can't provide the care. And my mother is exhausted, which many of you guys can appreciate. Our exhaustion and mental health is a factor in the care. My mother needs care. All of us need care. Because the truth of the matter is, John, some of us, we just start arguing. We're so tired over who's going to do what, when they're going to do it, et cetera, et cetera. And I can only imagine this is times 63 million people, times 63 million. And it has nothing to do with the professional politicians.
No.
What they're offering us, John.
No, it's not. But again, I think if the healthcare system offered something as simple as paid family leave, where caregivers wouldn't have to worry about financial stress and have and so many of them go into debt too. I think I read in your article and I looked up, and I know that over 500,000 Americans have to file for bankruptcy each year because of medical bills. And the vast majority of those people have insurance. So we've got a system that's so flawed with insurance companies and treating healthcare like it's a crap shot instead of a human right, that we've made caring at home worthless to people. They don't see any value in it. I guess maybe if investment bankers found out a way to make money on it, maybe that would help. But at this point, it's just been devalued for so long, and some people think that families should take care of. I heard last election that they thought that a lot of family members in the church should take care of people that are ill and can't work and stuff like that. But you know from experience, I know from having an uncle that had no one to take care of, family members had to pitch in. And a lot of them were, in their 70s and 80s that could barely take care of themselves. But there wasn't a system in place to help my uncle. So it's incredibly stressful. It's incredibly undervalued, and it needs to be addressed on a national level. And part of it, in my opinion, is a national health care plan. It needs to be included in there somewhere.
I'm still moving in the direction generally, and I agree with you. There should be a national health care plan, but it needs to be constitutional.
Without question.
Let's deal with the politics. It needs to be constitutional. And I'm not suggesting that any of the existing programs are unconstitutional, but I need to read the language in the Constitution that says it's okay. I'm tired of fighting for Obamacare and then replacing it with Trump care and then replacing it with Newsom care and then replacing it with Pritzker care, or that is not my vision of healthcare. I'd like to see
Romney care to begin with.
I'd like to see in the Constitution, if you think that all citizens enjoy the right to a gun under the Second Amendment,
that's right.
I'd like to see all citizens shall enjoy the right to health care of equal high quality. That's the foundation language.
Yep.
That should build a Mayo Clinic in every state in the union, by the way,
Yep.
paid for by the taxpayers,
Right.
with 5,000 room beds, which means we have to create as a nation the kinds of nurse, doctors, brain surgeons, cardiologists to be able to work in complexes to provide the American people that kind of care, which means a complete revamping of medical schools across the country and the entire provider network and infrastructure to just service 50 schools, even if it's 50 schools, 50 hospitals per state, the size of the Mayo Clinic. Those are 50. Mayo Clinic, by the way, is the size of a little city.
Yep,
It's
I've been there.
responsible for an entire city in Minnesota, in Rochester. So you're building 50 little cities that become massive little cities that are the infrastructure for healthcare of that state. But the most important part of the amendment says, and the Congress shall have the power to implement this article by appropriate legislation. That's a nice way of saying we can't do this one legislature at a time. We can't do this one president at a time. It has to be the guiding language in the Constitution of the United States that no matter who the president is, John, that no matter who the president is, that language is sitting there, and their only job is to make healthcare better, not to take anything away or make it worse. John?
Sounds like a great plan. Now you just got to convince the medical profession and the insurance companies on it right now, because I think those are the people that are primarily holding us back from having a better healthcare program in this country. Everybody that's polled, Republican, Democrat, Independent, they all want a better healthcare system. It's a universal winning proposition for everybody. It's just because of the lobbyists in those professionals, the pharmaceutical industries, the insurance companies, again, they make it hard. They make it really hard to change the laws on that. So,
I love analyzing energy, John, because the same energy that shut the government down from Democrats to hold out for a vote on some tax credits or some credits for sustaining Obamacare. The same energy, which now leads to maybe a vote later in December that we may or may not actually get if the Senate doesn't vote, or the House, because of the 8 Democrats who did what they did. The same energy that we used to hold out for that vote, why could we have not used the same energy to say, listen, the government is not going to open until the constitutional right to health care of equal high quality is allowed to have a vote in the Senate and the House Let everybody go on record. Do you believe that healthcare in America is a fundamental right, or do you not? And if you do not, face the voters in the midterms. If you do, we'll clearly see who supported it and who didn't, and turn the power over to the people and the state legislative process after the constitutional amendment is freed from Congress so that we can go through the ratification process. The same energy. But all we asked for was a fix to Obamacare. We didn't ask for health care of equal high quality for every American. That's kind of where I am on it, John. We'll come forward in just a moment on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about the caring economy, and we got a lot more where that came from. Jackson Jr., more when we come back.
The best conversations. You're riding with Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A judge tossed federal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and Black New York Attorney General Letitia James. Comey called the case malevolent, while James said she's heartened and called the charges baseless.
I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude's going to be the same.
Both say Trump's pick for U.S. attorney was unlawful. The Los Angeles Police Department is disputing rumors about the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez found in a Tesla linked to Black singer David. Police say her body was not decapitated or frozen despite TMZ reports. The coroner's records are under a security hold at LAPD's request while the case is investigated. And 84-year-old civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson has been released from the hospital in stable condition. He was admitted for monitoring after being diagnosed with a neurological disorder. His family denies reports that he was ever on life support. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Interesting game at Crypto.com Arena tonight in downtown LA. The Lakers and Clippers meet up for the first time this season. The outlook for both teams at the start of the season is very different. At 12-4, the Lakers have the third best record in the Western Conference, despite not having LeBron for the first 14 games. The Clippers have the fourth worst record in the West at 5-12. They were 2-7 while Kawhi Leonard missed 9 games with an ankle injury. Leonard returned to the lineup Sunday at Cleveland, but will he be at full strength to deal with LeBron or Luka Doncic? This is a national TV game tonight on NBC. The Clippers' problems could get exposed to the entire country. As for the Lakers, the country will see why they are one of the NBA surprise teams. 8 o'clock tip-off. Top 5 women's college basketball teams in this week's top 25 poll: UConn, South Carolina, 6-0 UCLA, Texas, and LSU. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
In a city as big as LA, healthcare shouldn't feel far away. That's why Cedars-Sinai is breaking down barriers and bringing resources like free screenings, vaccinations, and wellness programs into local communities. From Leimert Park to Lincoln Heights and everywhere in between, Cedars-Sinai is showing up, partnering with over 200 local organizations to improve access to healthcare resources. Because care doesn't just happen inside a hospital. It happens in neighborhoods and places around the city where we live, work, and grow. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
In a city as big as LA, healthcare shouldn't feel far away. That's why Cedars-Sinai is breaking down barriers and bringing resources like free screenings, vaccinations, and wellness programs into local communities. From Leimert Park to Lincoln Heights and everywhere in between, Cedars-Sinai is showing up, partnering with over 200 local organizations to improve access to healthcare resources. Because care doesn't just happen inside a hospital. It happens in neighborhoods and places around the city where we live, work, and grow. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA. Metro is teaming up with the Neighborhood NIP Foundation and the Think Watts Foundation for their first inaugural turkey giveaway on Tuesday, November 25th from noon to 4 at Neighborhood NIP Foundation headquarters, formerly Marathon Store. Come pick up your free turkey while supplies last. Take the Metro K line and get off at Hyde Park Station. The Neighborhood NIP Foundation building is just 1 block away.
Celebrate the soul of the holidays and support Altadena and Pasadena. Join us on Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, a joyful night of Motor City Soul, gospel, and holiday classics featuring an 18-piece band, all-star vocalist, and community choirs, all in support of the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. This performance comes at a pivotal time for many in Altadena and Pasadena. This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to tickets@thewallace.org. That's tickets@thewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. show on KBLA Talk 1580. My very special guest is political activist, analyst, and on every second Tuesday of the month on the Jesse Jackson Show series, Let's Talk About It, is John Lesiotis. He puts real talk in the middle of the floor about ways Republicans may view Democrats and vice versa in a dialogue filled with messaging and messenger truths. John, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Jesse.
John, can we talk messaging for a moment?
Absolutely.
All right, so I got to set this up. Coming out of New York's election, we heard Mamdani talk about affordability, and then, quickly across the country, the message of affordability began to spread. But if I use affordability in Chicago, that would be me saying, hey, I'm running to make life more affordable, but I'm running against Brandon Johnson because Brandon Johnson is responsible for it not being affordable. Or I'm running against Pritzker's policies because Pritzker's saying that it's not affordable. But I know that's not true because I know Pritzker and Brandon are working to make the city and the state more affordable. I know that's true. So affordability doesn't work for me here. But if I wanted to position myself against Donald Trump in the midterms, this is me.
Right.
I would say, because I know Pritzker and Brandon care, what distinguishes us from Donald Trump is he does not care. Trump doesn't care. Therefore, in the caring economy, he doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about caregivers. He doesn't care about people who care about people. He doesn't care. That more, from my perspective, defines who Donald Trump is than affordability. He can play games around affordability, but this guy doesn't care.
I think that's pretty obvious. He doesn't care. I don't know if you saw
Is it obvious enough to be messaging?
the scene from the White House about a week and a half ago where that guy fainted at the White House and everyone rushed over to the person and Trump just stood up oblivious to what was going on. Like there was nothing he could do and didn't care about it.
Didn't care.
didn't care about it. There was nothing in it for him. So there was nothing to say.
But couldn't the message actually be that close to us that, it sounds simple?
Well, Jesse, affordability in New York
is versus Democrats, right? I mean, everybody in New York has ever. Democrats have made New York.
But a big reason I think affordability has gone up is because the foreign investment in Manhattan and some of the other boroughs has driven up the price. But I think in Chicago, you could make a point of affordability around food prices and healthcare. And
John, in New York, you can blame it on foreign investment, and I'm being the devil's advocate here.
No, that's.
But Mamdani ran against the history of Democrats in that city.
Oh yeah.
Not the history of a city run by Republicans.
No.
A history of them, and he ran as a Democratic Socialist, and he said, "I'm going to make the city affordable." He was talking to the Democratic Party, including Cuomo, who have a legacy of making it expensive.
Absolutely.
So in these Democratic strongholds, running on affordability is like an internecine or between party warfare over why these Democrats are letting these cities become so expensive. But when we take on the Republicans, the point is they don't care.
No, they don't. And I think one thing that people aren't maybe giving Mamdani enough credit about is people did cite the affordability as the number one issue. But I think his personal likability is infectious. The way he smiles, the way he disarms people, the way he disarmed Trump. I mean, Trump even talked about affordability the day after Mamdani was in the White House to visit him. So Mamdani's got a magnetism about him, and he's an anti-establishment. He's a new guy, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And people use that affordability to rationalize a lot of the love he got, because I know his volunteers, I don't know, what do you have, like 100,000 volunteers or something crazy like that in New York that went for him. So it was affordability, but I think a lot of it was a cult-like personality and likability.
I'd like to see more Democrats running. I hear you, John. I mean, I'm going to push back a little bit more. I hear you. I'd like to see more Democrats running saying, I care, they don't. I care, they don't. I'm here, they're not. I'm for your health care, they're not. I care about the caregiving economy, a caring society where we look out for our neighbors. I care. They don't care. And if you can box them into the don't care message, it's hard to say that they do. And I think they've shown that over and over and over again.
No, they view empathy as a weakness, a lot of them. They view negotiation as a weakness and empathy as a weakness. Right now, I think a lot of the appeal of the conservative movement is just raw power.
John, let me pivot for a moment if I can. You and I took a trip recently to some more rural MAGA parts of Illinois, and these parts are indicative of other parts around the country that are similarly situated. Yeah. What did you hear in their messaging? What did they say?
I heard from the farmers we met with that they're getting squeezed on both the input and the output side, and they have very little ability to negotiate their own income and livelihood. Hearing one of the farmers, one of the first things he mentioned was the increased suicide rate among farmers, almost epidemic rates. And then after we met with him, I went online and saw some farmers across the country talking about the same thing. So they're getting squeezed. I don't think a lot of people, most people don't understand what farmers do, I think. They really don't understand the type of work that goes into it, the type of science, the type of education it takes. and really an undervalued part of society that is, I think, falling prey to corporate America.
I think that's right. I heard the same thing. I do have a question for you. Have you heard any Republicans articulating that message for them?
No, they haven't, and it gets back to your point about caring.
You know, I was about to set you up because have you heard any Democrats tell the farmers that they care about their suicide rates?
No, and
who cares? The point is, from their perspective, who cares? And until we have a caring economy, a caring society, and we shift the language to care for people, it becomes very difficult to make the case why I should care for you. I heard the exact same thing that you heard, that they are struggling, that they are robbing Peter to pay Paul, that the complicated nature of farming is so difficult. It is as difficult, quite frankly, as urban dwelling. It's crazy, all of the input from fertilizer to seed to the price of foreign markets, the things that they have to do in the off season just to get the plant ready, and the equipment can't fall apart, and buying old equipment and not new equipment, and sharing equipment between farms because they can afford a combine and I can't. I mean, when you get finished listening to it, you're sitting back looking at some kind of genius here who struggles to save in business but manages to do so anyway. John, I'll be back in just a moment. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about the caring economy. That's what we're talking about when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you got to make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. show. Today and tomorrow we are having our Thanksgiving specials on Tenacious Tuesday. Our very special guest today is none other than our regular contributor, John Lesiotis. In the next hour, Liz King is going to be joining us. Let's talk about it. Liz has been a regular policy advocate and expert for justice and human rights on our show. We'll share with you more about Liz King when we come forward. But John, I do want to close this segment by asking you a difficult question. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How do we have and hold these difficult conversations with family members who are on different sides of the aisle at Thanksgiving across the table? Get us there, John.
Well, I think you and I can use our experience on our trip this past weekend and the past couple of weekends downstate, meeting with people that probably don't share our political views, and finding we had a lot in common ground, and talking to them, I think exposed that. I mean, we could see that whether it was the mayor we met with outside of Danville, or it was the farmers we met outside of Kankakee, they were more than likely Trump voters in the past elections, but they still wanted to hear what we had to say. And I think when you peel it back, they have the same concerns we do. They really do.
So if I'm in California and I had to have a conversation with people around my table about the Edison Company and Altadena, or I had to have a conversation around my table about Proposition 50, whether you're for redistricting in light of what happened to to Texas and what's going on in Texas, what would that conversation look like? And how would I position myself as a listener, as a combatant? At the end of the day, I want to have comedy around the table. And I don't mean COMEDY, I mean COMIDY, comedy around the table. So it doesn't break out into full-fledged civil war. What does Thanksgiving look like, not between those of us who know we're different, but at home with family members who have different opinions?
It's definitely a delicate balance, and I have that issue as many of my family members don't share my political beliefs. And again, I just try to convince them we really all want the same thing. We want our kids to have a better future than we had. We want them to grow up in a safe neighborhood, attend a decent school, had a decent house and neighborhood to live in with affordable health care, and be able to retire with dignity. And when you talk to people about that type of stuff, you find out that's pretty much what they want for their kids as well. And I think if you could break it down to those basic fundamentals, then you can get some agreement instead of talking about specific policy, instead of ICE raids and stuff like that. Just talking about what more we have in common than what we don't.
I mean, I love that. I love that language. Trying to approach the conversations around the Thanksgiving table with common ground in a very polarized society. Someone's going to sit across at our table and say, "What do you think about this?" Oh, and then you're going to have a moment of pause and a moment of judgment. Oh, it's about to be on, because no matter what you say, here comes someone from left field saying something, and then this is going to end up in this space. And I think the answer is the pause that Viktor Frankl talked about. I think to receive it and initially not respond, just to receive it.
Just smile.
Because I'm telling you that the fight is coming right after that. And then you approach it a little differently by asking them, what would you do? Reverse the question. What would you do? Oh, I know you feel this way about immigration, but no, well, how would you handle people who walked 3,000 miles to come to the United States, were bused to Chicago, or bused to a different city like Los Angeles? In Chicago would be in the case of the cold, but bused to Los Angeles, and suddenly your children were separated from you. How would you feel about that? Don't argue, just reverse the question.
Absolutely.
And then see if you can appeal to the person across your dining room table's humanity, and not to their politics. How about that? If we appeal to people's humanity and not their politics, we might be one step closer to approaching the idea of caring. I think if I appeal to your politics, well, that's an argument. If I appeal to your humanity, we might reach common ground on our common beliefs and what we think is possible. I don't know. It's an experiment. I think I'm just going to be quiet.
Humanity.
I think I'm just going to be quiet around the table this Thanksgiving.
Pass the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, pass the chitlins. Just because I'm on KBLA in LA, don't mean I'm not going to tell you what I'm eating for Thanksgiving. Pass me the hot sauce, the Cristal hot sauce, and my greens and my chitlins. I am a professional chitlin eater. So with that said, John, we have about 4 minutes left. Your thoughts about hope and this Thanksgiving?
Well, I think that based upon the past couple of months, with the marches, the No Kings marches, and then the election results, I think that a vast swath of America has finally awakened, and they can see the damage that's been inflicted on the country, and they're starting to make movements. Some of the victories, I think, in Virginia and a couple other states were much larger than people anticipated. So there seems to be quite a shift in the winds. And so I'm very optimistic that we're going to keep this momentum up and hopefully definitely take the House back and possibly make a run at the Senate. I'm that optimistic. I think I know there's a big midterm race in Congress for the middle part of Tennessee right now, which has been, I think it's the 7th district in Tennessee, and it's been solidly Republican for 30, 40 years. And they're pouring a lot of money trying to defend it right now. They feel that the Democrats are making that type of gain. So I am optimistic, absolutely.
I'm excited. I have a very different take on Thanksgiving. Martin Luther King Jr. said we were here before the Mayflower. So before the first Thanksgiving, we were here. We were here under the leadership of a king from 1619 to 1774. We understand what it's like to live under authoritarianism. And we were here in 1791 when George Washington became president, 1789, 1791, the Bill of Rights. He became president and he established the first Thanksgiving. And it would be Abraham Lincoln who established the modern Thanksgiving after he came back to Gettysburg in November. It set aside the 3rd November as a national day of thanks because the North was succeeding over the South in the southern states. And the victory was heading in the direction of the northern states to save our union. He had hope and optimism for the nation. I say that and give that litany because every July 4th and every Thanksgiving is different. every Thanksgiving, they might tell you this holiday is about the pilgrims, but if you live on and through Thanksgivings over the course of your life, every single one is different. I say that also because I can't imagine Thanksgiving without my parents. I can't imagine a Thanksgiving without my loved ones. I can't imagine a Christmas without them. I don't know the holidays without them. And my hope is that we give a reflection to what we have during the holiday season, what we could lose during the holiday season, and recognize the significance that, well, that the holiday is special. We've got a lot to talk about. Don't give up on people. Turn to each other, not on each other, and we can make a difference together. My very special guest in this hour has been none other than John Lesiotis. He's our regular contributor on Tuesdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Always grateful for his opinion, John. Look forward to having you back in a couple of Tuesdays.
Thank you very much, Jesse, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your lovely wife. Please give her a hug for me.
Thank you much.
Thank you so much. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, Liz King.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A judge tossed federal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and Black New York Attorney General Letitia James. Comey called the case malevolent, while James said she's heartened and called the charges baseless.
I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude's going to be the same.
Both say Trump's pick for U.S. attorney was unlawful. The Los Angeles Police Department is disputing rumors about the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez found in a Tesla linked to Black singer David. Police say her body was not decapitated or frozen despite TMZ reports. The coroner's records are under a security hold at LAPD's request